put any binding?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the February 12th meeting of the Board of Selectmen and Sewer Commissioners for the town of Wareham. Can we have a roll call, please, Madam Clerk?
Mr. Chair, all 4 selectmen are present, as is Town Administrator Mr. Sullivan and Attorney Bowen.
Okay, announcements?
First, I'm sure that all my colleagues appreciate all the work on behalf of our town workers. We had municipal maintenance, a lot of contractors, police, fire, water, sewer. Everybody was out there, EMS. And we've all seen the trucks from all over the country and Canada that are slowly getting our lights back on. I heard we were down to 4% as of this afternoon, so a big shout out to them. All these folks left their families behind in the cold and dark to help us out, so I know people are frustrated. I get the emails and the calls, but let's thank them for what they are doing. They're doing the best they can. And we have, courtesy of Mr. Bob White, we have Wareham's Coffee Hour. A chance to have a coffee break and chat with interesting guests. Mr. Peter Teitelbaum, member of the Wareham Board of Selectmen, will be discussing the Winter Weekend Reprise at 9 a.m. on Thursday, Valentine's Day, 2013, room 225, right here in the Wareham Multi-Service Center. That is all my announcements. Mr. Teitelbaum?
I just have one. Some of you may be wondering why I'm kind of dressed up in a corn-pone fashion here. This is to show my support and solidarity with our finance chairman, Donna Bronk, who's undergoing some medical issues, and I won't be able to attend the FinCom meeting tomorrow night, where I understand there's going to be a lot of haberdashery shown, so I decided I'd do it tonight here.
Mr. Slavin?
Wareham Historical Society on Monday, this coming Monday, will have a presentation by our town council, if you'd like to explain what he's going to do.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Selectman Slavin. I've been invited to speak on the Civil War, and the presentation will be what a Civil War soldier had on him every day. So I hope to bring along a few artifacts that I'll let people handle so that they can get some of the actual feel of what it was like to be in the Civil War. So that's it.
Okay. That will be on Monday, I believe it's the 18th. It will be at 7 o'clock at the Methodist Meeting Hall on Main Street in Wareham. We also have the library, I believe, is doing their golf tournament this Saturday. Unfortunately, I don't have the date in front of me, but it's sometime, I think it starts in the late morning. Hopefully everybody will come out and support the library. It's a nice event. It's a lot of fun. It's a little mini golf thing going around the different aisles and stuff, hitting golf balls and trying not to do too much damage to the kids as well as everything else. And that's all I have for today. Oh, one more thing, I'm sorry. I'd like to put a special thanks out to the Board of Health, to the people that are new residents in Wareham that came in, the volunteers. The Multi-Service Center was set up as a warming center. We weren't set up as a shelter because the state had made other arrangements. And these people went out of their way for 3 days. While I was there, we had as many as 150 to 160 people there. We just did an awful lot of work, everybody, and nobody asked for anything. We had Mark Anthony's provide food as one example. We had the elk supply, I think it was a beef and barley soup. It was just a nice sense of community what happened there, and I just hope everybody appreciates what happened, and I thank everybody very much. Thank you. If I missed anybody, I apologize.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah, a couple things. One, I wanted to, a gentleman who appears before us quite often, Lieutenant Walchuk from the Wareham Police Department. Many of you are familiar with John. He was here just a couple of weeks ago talking about the dog officer. I wanted to pass along the board's condolences in the town's condolences. John's dad passed away right about the same night that he was here. Left his family to come here to talk about dog hearings. So John is a very faithful officer in our police department. And we want to send our thoughts and prayers to him and his wife and his children and his mother and his family. He's very close to his dad, and I only found out about that yesterday, so I want to make sure that we pass that along to John. I saw him out in the hallway. I don't know whether he came in or not. The second thing I want to make in sort of an announcement is that, you know, we just experienced, we're still experiencing this storm and its effects on Wareham are not over yet by a long shot. Yeah, you might have power back in your house, you might not. Your road might be plowed, it might not be. The schools, Dr. Rabinovich is going to open the schools tomorrow. You know, keep a thought for those kids that are going out in the morning, that everybody gets there safely. But so there's a lot of things going on. Today we have, with all the rain we had yesterday, this warm weather is nice. It melts the snow, but it puts a great deal of pressure on our wastewater treatment director, Mr. Campina, and his staff. You know, they're working out there with no power. They're running pump stations on generators. These are things that the citizenry really doesn't think about sometimes. They don't know that these things are going on behind the scenes. So, you know, one thing that we'll certainly work on over the next couple of weeks is some kind of an after-action review, and we'll do it here on Tuesday night, because I think citizens need to understand what goes on out here when these storms hit. Yeah, we get 3 or 4 inches of snow, and my street's not plowed, but when we have a storm of this duration, it's incredible. Trees down, lines down. I think there were over 70 poles down, more than 70 trees down, wires down all over town. You know, our police department, incredible, just incredible. The horrendous working conditions that they had to work in, using an antique generator. That generator failed, and our policemen and women were working in a police station with flashlights. So citizens need to know that, I think, because, listen, the 4 of us, we live in a house just like you do. We don't have any special treatment. And it's difficult when you're there and you don't know what's going on, and I understand that. But I would say this in the form of an announcement, is that, you know, we put out a release, I think Friday, declaring a state of emergency. And the reason we do that is not because it sounds good, but we do that so that as part of the county, if there is enough damage and enough dollars, that Mr. Sullivan can submit those hours to the state and federal government to try to get reimbursement as part of a state of emergency. So we lifted that last night, and we may actually, after speaking with Mr. Campina, need to extend that for the wastewater treatment facility. I spent a lot of time Sunday, part of the time Saturday, with Mr. Sullivan in our police department, and watched dispatchers on the phone giving instructions to people on how to give CPR to somebody who was actually on the floor and needed it. These are things that are going on, folks. When you call the police department and they might seem busy, it's because they are busy. When you call our maintenance department and they don't answer the phone, you need to call back. We have 7 maintenance workers for the town of Wareham. Somebody can't answer that phone 24 hours a day. If it sounds like I'm defending our employees, it's because I am. And people call the Board of Selectmen and say, what's going on? Don't call the Board of Selectmen to find out what's going on. We don't know what's going on. And these people here, Mr. Sullivan, the chief, those individuals are the people that run this town during an emergency, not the Board of Selectmen. If you don't get an answer, call back. Somebody can't be on that phone 24 hours a day. They have to sleep. They have to take a break. They're working on another emergency. And the folks who called during the governor's ban on driving to complain that their street wasn't plowed, I mean, come on, folks. We had almost the entire town, no lights. We had folks from our fire districts and other agencies, and Alan could probably explain this, because he was here in the multi-service center, going door to door, trying to find our senior citizens who had no heat. There's a list of priorities in a disaster, and plowing the street is not one of them. We have to take care of our elderly who haven't had heat for 3, some 4 days. We have kids on medical devices with no electricity. We have to make arrangements to get them to the hospital. There were quite a few people in this building. I think that's the first time I've ever seen that. And you had, what, up to 160 people made it here to get warm in this building. So, you know, we're going to do that in public right here so that people can tune in and understand what's going on. I understand. Listen, hey, I got grumpy a few times. You know, I explained that to a citizen tonight that, you know, in our house, we got a little grumpy. It's cold, and, you know, you go to hit the switch, and the lights don't come on, and that stuff happens. Your phone dies because it's not charged. You got to go outside, plug it in the car. But we put out those 2 numbers for a reason. And if there's nobody at the maintenance department answering that phone, then call the police department on the non-emergency line. They have the information. They can send us all the reports they want. I was with the Lieutenant Walsh for a while on Sunday, and I got to tell you, in that few minutes, the status changed so frequently that if he had given us a report at 8 o'clock, by 8:10 that report meant nothing. That's how fluid the situations are happening throughout the town. Those are the folks, and I want you to give them a round of applause. Some of them may be listening, and Mr. Sullivan can carry the message back to them in the morning. But I think you're doing a great job. I know that you're still in the middle of your cleanup and disaster and restoration, but here's the attaboy from us. And I'll end that, but if any selectman wants to chime in, or if Mr. Sullivan would like to make a comment during the announcement period, I will allow it, because this is important.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We will get an update to the boards on there, but I mean, there's staff. There's Bob Ethier and then Suzanne Burke from his staff. Citizens, Dr. Vegan, who came up big when there was no food, who reached into her own pocket to bring food. We had, and I'm sorry I don't remember their names, but there was kids from the foster home across the street. There's 4 of them that came and were volunteering their time to help out. It was amazing in here, everybody that came together. The EMS out there working, the amount of calls that they went on it was nonstop. You know, we're going to leave some of the people out here because there's too many to mention, but the departments did more than what they could. It was above and beyond. I appreciate everything they do and the level of service that was out there. Some of the plow drivers and municipal maintenance workers have been on for over 24 hours, and yeah, some of them go home. Go home, get some sleep in. I don't want you on the streets at that time. You know, their safety matters. So there was, we toured the area, took a drive around, to see the trees down, to see what was going on, and the amount of work that's still going on was amazing. And I'll tell you, it was what the municipal maintenance did here was better than my hometown. I didn't see a plow on my street till about 3:30 Saturday afternoon, and I know most of the streets have been cleared out here, most of the main ones before that. So it was a job well done, and I appreciate the department heads, their staff, and all the hard work and all the volunteers. And if I missed you, I apologize, but know that I appreciate everything you did. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
You're welcome. Anybody else?
Just one quick thing. Sorry, I messed up. I believe the golf tournament is on Sunday, just to change, instead of Saturday. I'm sure I'll hear about
You
it.
get in trouble for that.
I'll get in trouble either
You might
way.
get hit with a putter if people show up on Saturday and it's Sunday. Is it Sunday?
I believe it's Sunday.
It's Sunday. Yes, I was going to talk about it under liaison reports.
Okay. Sorry.
Mr.
Tex? Just quickly to get you back into the cold here. I was privileged to spend a bit of time on Sunday and Monday watching the work of the townspeople, watching the work of the Board of Health, watching the work of our employees in the multi-service center, assisting, quite frankly, some of our most vulnerable residents. And it was touching, the compassion that was shown. We had, for example, Lieutenant Walczek, who I don't think slept for 3 straight days. The smile never left his face when he was dealing with people. We've got some really tremendous people in this town. We're fortunate to have some of them working for the town. And to reiterate what Chairman Holmes and Selectman Slavin and Town Administrator Sullivan have said, I'm really touched even by what I observed, the kindness that was shown people and the effort that was made.
Now, is it Tex? Because the front's not at a point, or is it Mortimer Schnurd? Do you remember Mortimer Schnurd? You do, right?
Well, he's got property in Nevada, so maybe we should ask him. I don't know.
Well, I think it looks great. Anybody else before we move on? Okay. Thank you for your indulgence. I just think that it was important to take a few minutes because it's really all part of announcements about the storm. Would anyone like to address the board this evening before we move along? Oh. Sir?
Hi, Mr. Chairman.
Hello?
Chairman, members of the board, Town Administrator Sullivan, Town Council, and residents. My name is Michael Jackman, and I am the District Director for Congressman Bill Keating. I just wanted to come before you tonight to have the opportunity to introduce myself and let the folks at home and folks in the room know that Congressman Keating, due to redistricting, is now the Congressman representing the 9th District, which now encompasses the town of Wareham, along with most of the coast, the South Coast region down here. So we're very pleased to come before you just to say that we are available. We do have 4 offices, a lot of ways to get in touch with us. We're available to help residents with any federal agencies, issues they have with federal agencies. If folks are still without power, we've been getting plenty of those calls as well over the last few days, so we're happy to take those as well.
I see the congressman made comments about NSTAR.
Yeah, well, we became sort of the go-to office if you had a problem with NSTAR.
One of the citizens who's been communicating back and forth with me referred to his remarks.
Yeah, well, we got a lot of calls today, and they were very responsive today, and I want to commend them for that. And just to sort of piggyback on what folks were saying, it takes a lot of effort, it takes a lot of coordination between local agencies, the state, federal agencies. FEMA's been in place as well, and you talked a little bit about the reimbursement process. Our office is happy to help with that. I know there'll be a conference call actually tomorrow with MEMA and FEMA and our office and a few other federal officials about the reimbursement process, and I'm sure you have experience with that in the police and fire departments as well, but any assistance we can provide with that, we're happy to do that. If there are federal grants which we can be helpful with, we want to reach out and make sure people know that we're available for that as well. I did bring a few copies, and I can email this to the town administrator and to the town clerk, and maybe you can make it available on any websites that would be appropriate of our contact information. I mentioned we have 4 offices. We have, obviously, the congressman has an office in D.C. People can reach out to that if they like. We have 3 offices here in the district, 1 in New Bedford, 1 in Plymouth, and 1 in Hyannis. And they're all in the 508 area code, so they're easy to get a hold of. Of course, we have a website, keating.house.gov, which people can go to for information. But our telephone numbers are available here. I'll give out the Plymouth number since that's where I sit and might be the most successful one for folks in Wareham. It's 508-746-9000. If anyone at home or anyone in the audience tonight has an issue, whether it's immigration, Veterans Administration, Social Security, any federal agency, please do feel free to call us, and we'll do what we can to help you. That's all I really wanted to say tonight. I was pleased to meet Mr. Slavin at the library rally a couple weeks ago, and we both had a chance to read to the kids. It was a great day and a great event. And I just want to send the greetings to the congressman, and unfortunately he's down in D.C. for the State of the Union, so he couldn't be here tonight, but I appreciate the
I'm
opportunity.
sure you'd rather be here, right? Yeah.
Well,
Listen,
he
that-
didn't
you
have
know,
power.
that-
He didn't have power, so he almost had to stay. His wife almost made him stay. And, that's so important.
You know, that door is always open to you. The door of the town is open to you. Mr. Sullivan is always available. Members of the board. I was happy to see that you reached out. And we look forward to a close working relationship with you. We have many issues where in the past, I think that link between us and that and Congress really wasn't there. It wasn't a good solid link. So we look forward to getting that link in place and getting it secure so that we can work cooperatively together.
Great.
I know I met the congressman when we did the Pizzoli Square. He was at that, and we talked then about forming a good close relationship with the town, and so I'm looking forward to that. I think it'd be great for both of us to do that.
One other thing I just wanted to mention before I forget, Shirley Oldfield was nice enough to arrange for us what we call mobile office hours. We have a lot of ways to get in touch with us, but sometimes people want to sit down and tell their story in a private setting, and they can't always get to our office. So we'd like to do these mobile office hours, and we have actually scheduled our first mobile office hours for the town of Wareham on March 8th. I have it right here. It's a Friday afternoon. It's 1 to 3, and it's going to be right in room 225, right here in the Multi-Service Center. We'll be advertising that, and again, maybe we can work with the town to get that up on a website. But we'll try to have that in the paper and get the word out to folks. But I just want to mention that and thank Shirley for helping me to arrange that.
Outstanding. And we're here every Tuesday if you want to drop in.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else?
Thank you.
What I'll do is I probably don't have enough copies of this, but I'll
You can
leave a
just
few
make
with
sure Derek has it.
Derek, and I'll leave a few on the table if folks want to grab one.
Outstanding.
And thank you again for the chance to come in.
Thank
before
you.
Tonight. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Nice meeting you.
Thanks the congressman for us.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Moving right along. With the consent agenda.
Mr. Chair, we have authorization to sign bills and documents, of which we have none. We have an appointment of a Board of Selectmen representative to the Transportation Action Committee.
Any volunteers?
I've got time, from before with capital planning, but if someone else wants to come in with a fresh set of eyes, I have no problem stepping aside.
That wasn't very committed. That wasn't very
No,
committal.
I've spent 2.5 years on it, so it depends if someone else wants to give it a shot.
I know they typically meet, like around 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Any volunteers? Did you say yes, Tex?
That's just they have movement.
That's usually on Tuesdays, right?
It can vary.
Yeah. Well, if there's no volunteers, you want me to do it?
It's your call. Like I say, I'd be happy to do
Yeah, I
it
don't
if
mind
you want to
doing
do it.
Unless you have a passion.
Well, Mr. Chair, I think he has the knowledge. He's spent a lot of years on this project.
But he's not volunteering.
No, I said I will do it if you want, but if someone else wants to take a fresh shot at it, I have no problem.
Nominate him. See if he'll accept it.
Will you accept the nomination
Do I
to
get-
be the selectman representative to the Transportation Action Committee?
With the hat.
With a hat? You mean I have to pay you off with a hat?
All right, make a motion.
Go ahead, make your motion.
I move to appoint Mr. Slavin as the Board of Selectmen representative to the Transportation Action Committee.
Second.
Outstanding. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I abstain.
301.
Okay, next we have the approval of the minutes of the meeting of the Selectmen Sewer Commissioners from January 29th. I move to approve the minutes as written.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Anything on the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 400. Next, we have
Okay.
a public hearing.
Next, we have the, under licenses and permits, we have a public hearing scheduled for 7:15, which is the application of Brown's Package Store, Inc. for change of location from 135 Marion Road to 189 Marion Road in Wareham. I move to open the public hearing.
Motion to open the public hearing.
Motion so made.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 400. Good evening. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Okay. You want to tell us a little bit about your application, please?
Can you hear me now?
You got to speak real close.
Okay. I was informed by the ladies in the selectman office that I need to get an approval from ABCC along with you guys to do change of location in the liquor license. So we submitted the paperwork in advance because that's what I was advised to do. So that's why we're here in front of you guys for that.
Are you almost ready with the new building? I went by the other day. It looked like that new building's almost done.
It's getting there.
That's getting there. When do you expect that you would move?
We're hoping if the weather stays good, we're trying to move in by April.
Does anyone from the public have any commentary? In favor, opposed? No commentary. Mr. Barrows? I'm in favor. Thank you. Any other commentary from the board? Questions?
I just have one question. It's actually more a question for town council. Do we need information on the landlord? We just got that stuff in the mail about the other liquor license and the landlord and disclosing the name and all that. Because I don't see the name of the landlord, and is that gonna? Do you want to look at it?
Yeah.
I just don't want it to get sent back like the last one. Well, there's a lease involved here, and that was the issue with the other one.
With your permission, Mr. Chairman, I'd just say that if you haven't included landlord information
Okay.
in your application package, what would happen is even if the Board of Selectmen approves it, the ABCC will send it back
Okay.
because that is one of the types of beneficial interests that they want to know about. So if Selectman Winslow is absolutely correct, if that information isn't in here, and if in fact you're renting the property from someone, you're going to want to have that in here, and you'd probably want to continue this for another week or so that you could complete the application and get it all lined up properly.
In the lease, I didn't know if you got a chance to look at the lease, but in the lease it gives all the information about who owns the property and who we're leasing it from. It states the name of the owner of the property.
189 Marion Road, LLC.
Yes.
Yeah, but with your permission, Mr. Chair, I think that was the issue on the other property that was leased. Right. Right. Yeah.
So you guys want a list of the LLC, like who's on that?
Right,
So we
because the ABCC can consider them an interested party,
Okay.
and there's rules about conflicts of interest and things of that nature. So I do think we need that list, with or without. I mean, it's boilerplate language in a lease to have an interest in a liquor license if they don't pay their rent, right?
Yes, with your permission, Mr. Chair. If you want to make sure that you've disclosed all your officers, you want to make sure that the landlord is fully recognized in this. Do you have a pledge, or is there going to be a pledge of the license to the landlord in return for a debt?
No, it's the same family. I mean, I own the license and I own the property. So it's not any other landlord or anybody else involved there.
So you are the LLC.
Yes, ma'am.
They can try it out.
Okay. We'll give it a shot.
Okay. Motion to close the hearing.
So moved.
Motion made and seconded to close the hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? 400.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the application of Brown's Package Store, Inc., Karen Johar, manager, to a change of location for their liquor license from 135 Marion Road to 189 Marion Road in Wareham.
Motion made.
Second.
Second on the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? 400.
Thank
Congratulations.
Thank
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there someone here from the Multiple Sclerosis Society?
I don't see anybody.
Nope, not here.
But I think we did, this is,
It's a change of, it's a use of road.
yeah, and I believe we did this, this is one that has happened in the past. So we have the permit from the National Multiple Sclerosis Society, care of Bill Sykes, 101A First Ave, Suite 6, Waltham, for the use of town roads to hold the MS 150 Cape Cod Getaway Bike Tour on June 29th, 2013 from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. It is understood and agreed that the town will be held harmless from all liability as to damage to property or injuries to any person. I move to approve the proposed use of roads.
Motion made.
Second.
Second on in the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? 400.
And this is a repeat of an event that occurred most recently last year.
Mr. Campina.
Sore business.
We're going home early tonight, guy.
Yes, I appreciate it.
Need help?
No, not at all. I'm fine.
He's tired. It's a
Good
lot.
evening.
Did Mike stay or did he leave? Oh, sure. The one issue we wanted to bring up while he was still here, he's gone. Funding for the sewer.
Oh,
We probably should have did that while he was sitting.
While he
While he
was-
was sitting there, right?
yes.
Well, we'll have to talk to him about that, won't we?
It's a great idea. We'll have to reach out. We'll have to reach out to him, Mr. Chairman, to see what he
Right.
can do for us.
You want to before we get on to Walmart, why don't you just give us an update? That email the voicemail you left me today on the pumps. Why don't you just take a couple of minutes and talk about where we're at with the water, the pump stations, what you've gone through over the last 24 hours, 36 hours. And just give folks an update on where we're at.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. And like you said, I do want to extend a grateful thanks to the staff. They stepped to the plate. Friday, power went down, so we had, I put some basic numbers. We had 41 pump stations without power. So we ran around, fired up all the generators. We had 4 generators go down. So that means we had some anxious moments. We have sewer coming in and no way to move it out. We couldn't find a pump truck. Every one of them was out plowing snow. So we had to get really creative, bring in some help and some electricians and rewire our portable generators to handle our generator, to back up our generators in our pump stations. So that was some hairy moments and doing it in the conditions. So that was Saturday and of course Sunday. We had pipes break, water pipes breaking. We shut off water. The generator sucked in so much cold air, it froze out the pump stations, and that was a tighter slot there. But we're getting ready. We're making today. We started all the repairs, so that's exciting. Right this second, Rose Point is the only area without power, and so we're out there with our portable generators keeping those pump stations going. So right this second, that's where we are. But all the other pump stations are up. We're excited about that. We have manholes out there that we're going to replace. We got they were actually destroyed, so we're replacing those. The plant itself, there's snow everywhere. We haven't really paid a lot of time to the plant because in this type of emergency, it's the infrastructure that becomes critical, the pump stations, moving it. So if we didn't move it, then
you couldn't go to the bathroom during this whole event, and so just to keep the water moving without power was a major chore. The guys worked around the clock. I was impressed. They stayed. You had to force them to go home. It's just amazing how people step to the plate when you really need them. And so, you know, we say whatever we want to say during the course of the year, but times like these, it makes you appreciate the people that are working for you. So I'm very appreciative, and they did a great job. And
Very good.
Overall,
Thank you very much. Next up, we have the discussion of the Walmart sewer capacity. Anybody here from Walmart? Yeah, come right on up, please. Good evening. If you could identify yourself for the board and the folks that are listening.
My name's Susan Kincaid, and I'm an attorney with Wilmer Hale in Boston, and we represent Walmart.
I'm Matt Smith with Bowler Engineering. We're Walmart's engineers on the project.
Here we are again. This is going to be our last time, Susan?
We hope so.
Okay. We hope so, too. Okay. Mr. Bowen has distributed the documents to the board. I don't think there's anything new in that document other than it's finally complete. He's shaking his head. So we can start this conversation by Mr. Titlebaum. If the board has any questions, is that okay? We'll do it that way. Mr. Titlebaum, do you have any questions?
Mr. Chairman, I think it might be appropriate to just very briefly revisit the history of this project, the initial application, and
Well, I think most people have been through all that. I'd like to kind of stay current, if we could.
Right. Fair enough.
I don't want to go too far back.
Okay. Well, I would just like to thank Walmart for revisiting early agreements. I'd like to thank our town administrator for working with town council and coming up with this new agreement that I think is more beneficial to the town. And at the end of the day, I think it's a fair deal for the town. I think it's a fair deal for Walmart. I think we've resolved any number of other issues and don't have to be part of this agreement. And I look forward to moving forward.
Mr. Slavin?
Just simply want to thank our town council who had to pick the ball up when we had come to a little bit of an impasse externally, and who was able to take care of all this in a very simple, straightforward manner to the point that everybody, I believe, is on board now. Thank you.
Mrs. Winslow?
I don't have any comments, Mr. Chairman.
I guess my only question is I just want to confirm, while we're all in the same room now, and I think I asked Rich last week about it, and that is that the 10,000 gallons is for Walmart, the store. No subtenants, no other leases. That's your understanding as well, Mr. Campino?
Yes, it is, Mr. Chairman. The
Susan,
10,000
Susan,
gallons.
that's your understanding that you're not
Yes.
going to lease property and go over the 10,000. That this 10,000 is for Walmart, the store.
The 10,000 is for the Walmart store. Maybe Matt Smith can explain.
Yeah, just
Please,
sometimes
so that people
sure,
understand
sure.
exactly what's
Sometimes
going on.
within a Walmart building, you will have a Subway or a
Understood.
McDonald's or a tenant.
Right,
Those would be included within that. So it's really for the building.
but no
Be a better
external.
way. Yeah.
External. That's what
That's
I meant.
correct. Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do you have any comments that you'd like to make, Mr. Campino?
No, Mr. Chairman, everything is in order.
Have a motion? Whole thing, Reg, right from the top.
Yes, sir.
It's going to be a little long, so bear with us. It's okay.
Mr. Chairman, I move the following with respect to the Walmart request for sewer capacity. 1. Finding. The Board of Selectmen, acting as sewer commissioners, the Board has received the comments of town staff on the application and through the public meeting process on the application, has reviewed the needs of the town with respect to the potential impacts of the development of the proposed approximately 160,500 square foot Walmart store, the Walmart store, on the municipal sewer system, and on the general welfare of the town and public safety needs of the town, including without limitation those in the West Wareham area. Based upon the information provided to the Board through such review and process, the Board finds that such impacts are adequately mitigated by the requirements imposed on the applicant pursuant to the pursuant to the conditions of this permit as set forth below. 2. Conditions. First, within 30 days of the date of issuance of a permit from the Board for the connection to the municipal sewer system to Walmart for 10,000 gallons per day from the proposed Walmart store to be located on a parcel of land at the northwest corner of Cranberry Highway and Seth F. Toby Road, the retail site, Walmart will place into escrow with Chicago Title Insurance Company or another national title insurance company the amount of $100,000, the funds, which funds will be released from escrow upon issuance of a certificate of occupancy for the Walmart store to the town for studies, repairs, replacements, and improvements as may be determined by the Board as needed with respect to the portion of the town sewer system served by the Sanborn Pump Station. Second, within 30 days of the receipt of a certificate of occupancy for the proposed Walmart store, Walmart will pay the town of Wareham the amount of $250,000, which shall be used by the town as follows. A. $50,000 for studies, repairs, replacements, and improvements related to inflow and infiltration in the town sewer system, and B. $200,000 toward the purchase of an ambulance or other public safety equipment or to address public safety or other needs of the town as determined by the Board. Nothing contained herein or such escrow agreement shall require Walmart to commence construction or construct the Walmart store, and if the construction of the Walmart store does not proceed, the escrow agreement will provide for return of the funds to Walmart. Third, this permit and authorization shall lapse if the connection from the Walmart store to the municipal sewer system is not made within 2 years of the date hereof, provided that such period shall be told for the duration of any appeals. Such period may be extended for an additional 1 year upon notice to the Board. If such connection is not made within such period, as the same may be told or extended, then the applicant shall be required to reapply for a new permit in order to make such connection.
Second. Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
We do as well.
Thanks.
Okay, any other sewer business?
No, Mr. Chairman. I think
All right.
everything's pretty-
Mr. Campina through Mr. Sullivan, at some point, again, over the next couple of weeks, we'll be getting together for a forum here to talk about the storm, and as a reminder, to make sure that you keep a very accurate number of hours from Friday at, what was it, noon? When we declared noon through midnight. And if there's an issue ongoing related to the storm, then you need to let Mr. Sullivan know so that I can extend that letter.
Absolutely.
All right.
We've just put up Sandy, so I'll put it in the same format that we're presently doing for FEMA.
Just like we did,
So
just like we did for the last one.
Yeah, absolutely. Not a problem. Thank you.
Hopefully we'll get something, right? Thank you. And please pass on our thanks to all of your team.
I will. Thanks.
I just saw Mr. Pina. Come on up. It's your turn. Oh, and you brought friends. Whoa. Hello. Jeez, I almost didn't recognize you.
A little winter.
You've done a little storm preparation. Well, good evening.
How you doing today?
Any more seats, Linda? You gonna come out? Or you gonna... Anyone else want to come up? Feel free. If you want to come up, we'll put a chair there for you. Nobody else? Okay. Mr. Pena, you want to
How you doing
introduce
today?
your mates and
Yeah, absolutely.
tell us what's going on?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Well, first of all, I'm here with Mr. Richard LaFrance and Mike Hogan from 80 Makepeace. And we're here to chat about a very exciting project that's about to hopefully come to fruition here. Last week, I was contacted by the town administrator. He had received a request on behalf of 80 Makepeace for a TIF agreement. He asked me to go out and meet with 80 Makepeace to see if I could get a handle on what the request was. And so I did that, and we're here today to talk about the project. What I'd like to do is just preface it by saying a couple of things. We obviously have just begun to meet today. I was over at 80 Makepeace this morning because of the snowstorm, couldn't get over there till today. So this is all happening as we speak. And one of the things that we'd like to do is just give you an overview of the project. I know Friday is the deadline to put forth a warrant article, so we will need to do that to get it on. But one of the things that I wanted to make sure that the board had the opportunity to guide us a little in terms of the process. And I also wanted to make a request of the town administrator that he put a team together to help with the negotiations. I think that would be helpful to have the assessor, the treasurer on that team, as well as the town administrator. So,
Okay.
So if I could maybe turn it over to Mr. Hogan and.
Sure, Mike. Good evening.
Thank you all. It's a pleasure to be with you here this evening, Mr. Chairman and members. We were here about a couple of years ago talking about the Rosebrook Place concept. We had just finished the Rosebrook Business Park, the first building, 100 Rosebrook Way, which is now fully occupied by Fresenius Healthcare and South Coast Health Systems, a number of their clinical programs and MDs. And we had focused on a mixed-use development at the gateway to Wareham and the gateway to our core properties at Rosebrook Place. The town was kind enough, through your support, to abandon Lou Avenue to allow us to assemble the rest of those parcels. And then working with the Planning Board and the Zoning Board of Appeals, we received a special permit and master plan for the site. It was our goal from day one, as we committed to you, to use one of the economic development licenses, liquor licenses that the town had received, to be able to attract a national hotel chain with a function capacity, to provide high-quality hotel opportunities, extended stay opportunities here in Wareham, but also the opportunity to host meetings and functions and to support the tourism industry here. We've always been committed to high-quality development, and even in the face of a national economic meltdown, we're insistent on finding the right partner to kick off this phase of the development. So today, as you recall, the development allows for some retail, some restaurants, some office, and some apartments at build-out. But the cornerstone really is the hotel and the hospitality use. So we're very excited to introduce Richard LaFrance and his team from the LaFrance Hospitality Company. They are very well known in southeastern Massachusetts and have a significant presence throughout the South Coast area and now throughout New England, and have a great reputation for the functions that they provide and the services that they offer. The request for the tax increment financing agreement is not for Makepeace. Makepeace is the master developer for the site, and we're leasing the land to the LaFrance family to build and develop and operate the hotel. So the actual request for the tax increment financing agreement is with the LaFrance company to help them support their financing and the initiation of this development. So I'd like to turn it to Richard at this time, let him introduce his team. And again, we're very excited to be here, and we thank you for all of your support that's allowed us to get to this day and to make this announcement.
can probably just, Mike, I think, again, I thank you also. We appreciate the opportunity to speak in front of you and explain to you just what about the project and who we are. With me today, because we have other questions, is our CFO, Jeff Pino's in the room, and Jeff has worked with various other towns in developing TIF agreements for the benefit of both the town and the city of the town and ourselves, and Tim Burkhardt, who oversees our hotel operation. A little bit about our company. I was born in Fall River. I live in Westport. I don't very seldom go over the Fall River Bridge. I don't very seldom go over the Bourne Bridge. I kind of like, this is my home territory. So, we're a multi-generational family, and parents started the business. I'm the second generation. My sons and son-in-law, and Jeff's my nephew. So we have a really family operation that, second, third generation. The fourth generation helps out a little bit while they're in high school. So we're committed to the area, but we've been doing business here for 55 years. We've been kind of like the pioneers of hotel development in a small way. We're local, but we try to think in a big way. We built the hotel in Westport next to, we have White's Restaurant, which is kind of we think it's a landmark on 195 along same corridor. We built in '89 the first Westport. The Westport Hampton Inn was one of the first Hampton Inns in the Hilton chain. We built that first hotel in the area for a national brand. And then we went over to Fairhaven and dealt with the people in the town of Fairhaven, and built a Hampton Inn in Fairhaven, and then expanded to Franklin, and really and then we built a hotel in Plymouth. So we dealt with the town of Plymouth, which wasn't that easy, but we did it at times. And most recently, I think you're aware of the fact that we developed in New Bedford, the first hotel in 55 years. And we're most proud of that. Somebody said today to me, what you're most proud of. We're really probably most proud of that project. New Bedford, was a city like a lot of the cities in the South Coast that really needs some economic development activity, and we felt that we were a tremendous stimulus to what happened in New Bedford. And we went to New Bedford like we're coming here, really with the understanding, we're local, we're very committed to the area. We're not someone that is, just going to come in here and try to do something and sell it off. We're committed to the area, and we just, want to have, all the considerations we can that somebody that would demand. We're not here to demand anything. We're here to work in partnership with the town. New Bedford was a great example of. They welcomed us with open arms. They helped us out, and I think we've proven to them just what impact a hotel has in the city. It's really kind of put New Bedford back on the map. We'll say we've got New Bedford's got a lot of publicity just because of the hotel. People when they go to New Bedford now say, "Wow, I didn't realize they had this here." And it's our first opportunity with the Marriott product. We also, had an opportunity because we have Hilton hotels, we have Holiday Express hotels, so we have a various wherewithal to deal with various chains, but we felt the Marriott chain, really the presence of the Marriott chain in towns such as Wareham is really important. So we're here coming to, that we want to develop a partnership with the town. Like Salvador said, we want to work with whoever we can work within the town to develop what's right and fair. The TIF portion of our request is not just like, well, let's see if we can get it. I will say and say it to anybody that asks that it's an important part of the project. The hotel business, is it's a great business to be in. We love the hospitality business, but from a financing standpoint, it's not a business that can easily be financed. There's a lot of more regulations, even though people say rates are low. As we know, banking is difficult to get loans. We're looking at local options for financing, which is important, to try to, develop local connections, which we have in most of the hotels lately that we've done. But the TIF is an important part of this project, a very important part of the project, and probably the one thing that helps make it feasible for us to do. And again, we're looking at, we also look at some of that because of the ability on a hotel project is that there's a ramp-up period over several years that takes to ramp up and make the hotel, the awareness of the hotel and the function spot estimated. From a job standpoint, we think, not only will we create a number of, permanent jobs, both for the hotel and the function center. But the important part, and again, we can, quote a lot of different statistics, but certainly the after effect of all the multiple effect of all the people that are coming into town would also use restaurants, facilities, all the facilities the town has to offer. So not only is our investment of something in jobs, in revenues for the town, but also what it also brings in helping other businesses. We are very, happy and proud of what we've done throughout New England. We're also the type of company. Wareham is a market, and I've been really we've kicked the tires on Wareham a number of times. I mean, over the years, I've been approached to come to Wareham. We've looked at it, and we think this is certainly a perfect opportunity, especially with AD Makepeace and what they're bringing into the master complex there. It needs to all work together, and we think this is going to work well. We also feel that we're the ones to do it, the best ones to do it, and I think that's why we felt comfortable. And ADPs, I think, feel comfortable with us because our presence in the South Coast helps assure the success of the hotel, because we can, help feed the hotels from our Plymouth hotel, from our hotels in New Bedford and Westport. I was actually in our hotel in Westport over the weekend. We hosted a number of Wareham people that were looking for rooms. They were staying with us because of obviously a difficult situation. So, and this is something that one of the we all learn from these difficult times. But one thing we know, I can tell you, we're going to have a generator in this hotel to make sure there's not going to be a problem with power. We were fortunate in our other hotels. New Bedford has a generator, but in Westport we were fortunate not to lose power. I mean, I can go on, but we just, again, we're here to work in partnership with you. We think we can offer, a tremendous benefit to the town people, jobs, So, and I leave a few things if you want to find a little bit more about our company. We'd be happy to.
And for your constituents who are at home, these are pictures of a similar property, a Marriott Town Common, a town place at Guilford, New Hampshire. So roughly the same size, about 90 rooms, a mixture of smaller rooms and extended stay rooms. Function facility would be adjacent to this. As Richard said, roughly 50 jobs directly connected to this, plus another 30 to 40 of construction jobs. And we believe from our retail brokers that we've been working with that once we officially release this press release this evening, that Marriott has made this commitment with the LaFrance Group to the site, that the next set of tenants for this retail tenants will land in restaurant tenants. We've got letters of commitment from folks that have said if you announce these hotel brands, we want to be at that site.
Good.
So we're very excited about it, and we think we found the right partner for this development, but also for Wareham, because as we've learned through this process, they're very much hands-on. There's a lot of pride. There's a lot of connection to the LaFrance family. There's always somebody directly connected to the family who's part of the discussion and paying attention to the details. And I think that's going to be important for this project.
Do you also have Rachel's?
Yes.
You do, right? Yeah, I heard that it was a commercial for a bridal show.
And Rachel's also my oldest daughter.
Is
So
it?
We named it after her. We always say she's the smart one in the family. She's a guidance counselor at Durfee High School. But her husband works for me along with my 3 children. So.
Now, did you purchase that from, what was it, Pat and Roland?
Yeah.
I worked
Pat
for
Forrest.
them when I
Did
was
you?
like
Pat Forrest, yeah.
12, I think. They had the Cranberry Room in New Bedford. Do you remember that on the Christian Avenue?
Yeah.
And my 2 brothers, myself, all the kids. That's where we worked. I mean,
sure.
lugging Marinite cans, different showers and stuff.
Yeah.
And so
And we
yeah,
had
I thought I heard your name was associated with Rachel's there.
Yeah.
Great. Any comments or questions from the board? And Mr. Sullivan as well, if you'd like to.
Mr. LaFrance, is there any possibility or thought going forward that if the 90 rooms prove to be a success and a continual sellout, that there's any possibility for expansion, or are you looking to keep your operation at that size?
Well, I mean, we have discussed with Mike the possibility of, and we've had that experience elsewhere, that we developed something that was really good and would like to expand. We had no room. So I mean, right now we're trying to be careful not to bite off more than we can chew, we'll say, but, you know, there's been some discussion. I think on that particular site, the answer would be no. We've looked at similar sites, you know, that Mike has brought us to, that has had, you know, built one hotel with a conference center, and the demand was there and was able to expand. You know, and I think we would have at least a gentleman's agreement with AD Makepeace that if there's a need, they'll find us a spot, you know, so.
No, I appreciate that. And for anybody watching, in keeping with tonight's theme, I want to say that I'm well aware of the operations of your family, and you are not all hat and no cattle.
Thank you.
I saw the CFO shaking in his chair before you answered that question, you know, just so you know. There was somebody looking over your shoulder for an answer there.
That's right. You haven't told the bank that yet.
Mr. Slavin?
There'll be some questions, but I think the town administrator and the CETA director will get into the nuts and bolts of the TIF agreement and make sure it follows as far as what the town needs overall. So I'll wait until we're farther along.
Thank you.
Mrs. Winslow?
Well, my question is there going to be an indoor pool?
Yes.
Great. My mom travels out here several times a year. She has stayed at all your properties in the area, so she will be very happy to hear this news. She's not watching us. She lives out the West Coast, but I'll be sure to text her on my way home.
Yeah, great.
But there was an indoor pool requirement to this for her. So.
Absolutely. Oh, that's good. That's good. There certainly is.
So I was going to have to insist that that be part of the agreement. But see, you're one step ahead.
No.
So congratulations. This
Thank you
is
very much.
the company I work for. We fly people in quite a bit too, and they're very anxious to see this built.
Okay.
In fact, I don't think a week goes by when somebody doesn't pop in my office and say, "Are they building the hotel? Are they building the hotel?"
Well, now you can say yes.
Now I can go into work tomorrow and put the sign up on my door. Yes.
Great.
One of the benefits, too, I failed to mention, in addition to the property taxes that comes from this, is that the estimate based on the room nights and the meals from functions alone are that those two areas would generate north of $120,000 a year in income to the town in rooms taxes and meals taxes. So this is one of those gifts that gives in a number of different ways.
I think the local option tax is really, you know, an important aspect of everyone for the town to have because, you know, and you guys and ladies know best how the need for funds is, and I think the local option tax is really something that hopefully goes as much directly to you and you can control it as best you can. But, you know, again, that's big dollars, and we're happy to pass it. We're happy to collect it and pass it on to you. Yeah.
We'll be happy to take it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Well, I just think that, you know, it's, I know that Mike and his team have worked very hard over the years to continue to share a vision. Rosebrook has been, I'm in the healthcare field, and not a week goes by that someone hasn't been out to the Rosebrook building as a patient or as a vendor. And the commentary is just, it's number one, it's first class. We've come to expect that from Mike. We'll accept nothing less. And so we know the LaFrance family. I'm from New Bedford. You know, we're all from this area, so we're very familiar with you and your family. You're working with a great gentleman right there to your left, Mr. Pina, who's done some outstanding work in the state in terms of economic development. And he's the right person to guide you through this process and to help you out. Mr. Sullivan is also anxious to help you out as well. So I want to say thank you, Mike, to you and your team. I know that you've been working real hard on this for quite some time. We've had several discussions about other tenants as well. So welcome. If there's anything that we can do to help you, don't hesitate to call Mr. Sullivan. You're working with Sal. You won't need to call anybody because Sal will take care of it. And I'm a little disappointed he didn't show up Saturday during the storm because he knows he could walk. He could have got a police cruiser out there, or somebody could have given you a ride, or you could have jumped on an Instar truck, right? So I was a little disappointed that he didn't show up. But no, he's a great guy to work with. He has a lot of resources, and he'll be able to help you out a great deal. Anybody else? No. Well, thank you very much.
I'd just like to thank you all.
Now, what do we need? What's the next step?
Well, we have to put a warrant article in by Friday, because the 15th, yeah. So we'll do that, and what we'll be looking for eventually, I think somewhere, I think we're talking about March 15th. Remember, by around March 15th, I think we have to have everything prepared for the board. So our goal is to try to get a draft agreement in front of you by March 15th.
And you're working with Rich?
With Rich as well, yep, have Rich review it. And
well,
then
we just did the crouton factory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Right?
and yeah, absolutely. And
so you understand you're going to have some nice garlic smell coming through those windows, depending on which way the wind's blowing. Right?
Well, they'll have plenty of croutons for their salads. I'll tell you that. But I think the state process goes. I think I want to say April 22nd is the town meeting, and then a few days after that is the deadline for the state. So this will work out if we can get this correctly. All the dominoes should fall right in.
We have our expert sitting right there.
Yes.
Ms. Burke.
Linda will,
understands the process probably better than anyone. So good.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, one
Well,
of
if
the
there's
things
anything
is
you need from us, just let us know. If we need to reconvene or do anything, just let us know.
we're going to put that on the special warrant, so as soon as it's passed, it can be enacted upon in case there's any delays with the annual. That way, if the deadline's the 24th or what have you, we've taken care of it right away.
That'd be great. Thanks.
He's got it under control.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your time and your support.
If it's possible, Sal, maybe on the 26th of February to get us an update with some of the details, so in case we have any questions, we can keep this moving along smoothly.
Absolutely. I'll be
Thank
glad
you.
to do that.
Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Great, welcome. We look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mike.
I just leave these on the table.
Oh, sure. Thank you. Okay.
Okay. And Mr.
Any
Chairman,
other town business?
I just wanted to make sure Mr. Pina mentioned a team, and I just wanted to make sure that Mr. Sullivan would put that team together.
He will.
And let us know who's going to be sitting on that.
I'm sure he will.
There used to be an old way of doing this, but it hasn't been done in so long that.
Well, we just did it a couple months ago. He's got it, and he'll get back to us.
Okay. Any other town business not reasonably anticipated 48 hours prior to the posting of this meeting?
Mr. Sullivan, and we're gonna put this off, the police strategic plan.
Mr. Chair, yes, please.
Because our people who are presenting are out recovering.
Correct.
Okay.
For the next available meeting on there, I'd put it on there. And, the only other thing is I think remembering the people that I missed was Onset Fire and Wareham Fire that really knocked it out of the park for us. So I want to make sure I didn't forget them. And I'll let us go from there.
And then in the other group that was here that I don't know that anybody's mentioned, we had members of the National Guard with us as well.
Correct, yes.
And you guys had school bus drivers. Who was driving those buses?
We had two different drivers from the school. Jeff Tatro, the director of transportation, was coordinating it all. Our National Guard physically went out with the fire department to all the mobile home parks, checked on everybody there to make sure that they were safe and secure. That they had there was one instance they came across a clubhouse where people were using a particular stove to heat, which was a question about being safe with the fumes and stuff. So they actually brought some of them back in, and they did a great job. They physically went out to all the different areas of town and made sure everybody was safe, and there was nobody turned away. And I can't say much more than that.
Outstanding. And then if you'd just be thinking about it, Derek, to have no need to do it on the same night, but I think that it would be important to, I think the order should be that we have the after-action meeting and postpone the strategic plan until after that meeting. Let folks hear what a disaster we have there, and antique and just archaic working conditions before we present a strategic plan. So that they don't hear the strategic plan and say, "Oh, here we go again." Let's tell them what it's all about first. Give them the real state of the state, and then show them the strategic plan. So if we could schedule it that way, I think it would be best.
Mr. Chairman, may I speak?
Go ahead.
Thank you. We used to have an old policy where we recognize employees, and we haven't done that in a long time. I think it would be great if we could type up a few letters, you know, to the folks to share with their employees, thanking them for all their efforts. Especially, you know, the fact that we've got crews in from all over the country helping us cut back trees and pull lines out of woods, and, you know, we've got multiple.
Would you take care of that?
I can take care of that.
Okay.
I just need a list from Mr. Sullivan as to who all was involved.
Yeah, I think if we send out an email to the chief, Mark Gifford, Mr. Campina, Bob Ethia.
We just need the
department heads, and they can tell us who all was involved in
right.
their efforts. That would work.
And if we could get that on the agenda maybe 2 weeks from tonight, then we'll just publicly thank them and send our letters. We can sign them. That way we don't miss anybody, because I know we don't intend to.
Okay, liaison reports. Mr. Titlebaum, anything?
Just briefly, since I am a neighbor of the Minor Forest and we lost our liaison, I have been keeping an eye on the red pine harvest. I am glad to say that the logger has finally returned. He was out there 2 days last week, harvested a significant number of trees. I don't know what this weather is going to do in terms of his timetable, but hopefully he's back out and the project can be completed timely. I'm kind of glad it's happening in the winter because now we're not disturbing nesting birds with young, so it's actually worked out. The delay has actually helped out a little bit in that regard. So if you hear noise out there, it's good noise.
I'll be very quick. The Historical Commission met on Wednesday. I had a prior meeting that I couldn't make. They had 4 buildings for demolition. I'll get back to everybody next week when I find out what the status is. The Historical District Commission was working on the issue over in Center Park, and I haven't got information back on that for the same reason. And I would like to, within maybe 3 or 4 weeks, if it works out, start to go back into the community guide for biotechnology, since we're moving along with the hotel, etc. This is a project that would be good for Wareham long term, called Mass Bio, getting ready for bio industries.
Mrs. Winslow?
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Sleven stole my thunder earlier. The golf tournament is this weekend for the library. They have lots of great auction items. The chairman of the Board of Library Trustees stopped by to warm up and have a nice hot meal during the power outage. And she told me that they've rounded up some really neat stuff. So it sounds like a very exciting day. The kids love it, and it's for a great cause. You know, the library does rely heavily on the goodwill of the citizens of Wareham to continue to offer the exceptional programs that it does. So I will be there losing the golf game to my 7-year-old, as I did last year, not so gracefully. And I hope to see everyone there. What was that? No, she does. She kicks my butt, hole in one, every time. I don't know how that kid does it. She kicked my husband's butt at Monopoly yesterday. She bankrupted him, and she had $1 million in her bank. No kidding, Mr. Chair.
A couple of notes, so I don't get slapped. I did receive a request from the director on the Council on Aging. We have a couple of openings on that committee, spaces to be filled. I received a note from Mrs. Slavin on the Open Space Committee that we have one gentleman coming in next week for an interview. We have some open spaces there. I guess there's no better time than after an emergency to beg for volunteers. Volunteerism is a important part of our community, and get out, volunteer for a group. We have several openings on various committees. You can check out the website. or just call the office if you want to ask if particular groups have any openings. We welcome any and all applicants, and come on out. It's fun. You get a little extra project work to do, something to do with your time, and you're volunteering for the town to try to make it a better place. So we have several openings available in all different areas, and you can call the Selectmen's office, and Janet and Shirley or Susan will be happy to guide you through the process. Anything else? Mr. Bowen, you have anything?
Motion.
Legal kind words? Nothing? How is your town, by the way? Have you all got did you lose power out there?
Lost power. We still have about 3,000 people without power. The best way to describe it is the town, the trees, the telephone poles looked like the French fleet after Nelson beat them at Gibraltar. Dismasted.
Here we go.
It was bad.
He's a history guy, isn't he? Yeah. Okay, thank you. Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Yeehaw.
Opposed? Abstain? 400. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you for coming. Stay safe, and remember those 2 phone numbers if you need anything from the town. Thank you very much. Have a great night.